found out that I can be myself, yeah, yeah, and I'm so glad, I'm so glad. Well, I found out that I can be myself, yeah, yeah, and I'm so glad, I'm so glad. Yes. Oh yeah, so glad I can be myself. It really is good to know that I don't have to be nobody else. Yeah, I'm so glad I can be myself. Yes, I have peace because I don't have to be nobody else. It feels so nice to be free. I can be myself. I can really be me. Yeah, I'm so glad I can be myself. I can be myself. Sure, it's good to know that I don't have to be nobody else. Oh, yes. Happy New Day, family. My auto tap. Yeah, good to see you guys. Say it with me. Well, I found out that I can be myself. Yeah, yeah. And I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Yes. Well, I found out that I can be myself. And I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Yeah. Well, I found out I could be myself. Yeah. And I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Oh, my Auto Tech family, welcome to another Sunday online Njia Fellowship with the African Village and Cultural Center. And I'm Brother Ray Hagins, and I'm your friend, your brother, your teacher, the chief elder of the African Village. And I trust you guys are doing absolutely blacktastic right now, wherever you are. Yeah, man, in spite of everything that's going on, I trust that you guys are doing okay. I pray that you're doing okay. Yeah, it's so good to see the many of you logging on and joining us this morning. And hey, man, I just trust that we're going to have a great fellowship today and do some learning today. Okay, do some learning today. And always remember this: knowledge brings change. All right. And if you're not willing to change, it's best that you don't learn, because knowledge brings change. Listen, I want to say welcome again to everybody, to our brothers and sisters who are members of the African villages abroad. Okay, of course, headquarters in St. Louis there, to our Dr. and Minister Alice Herndon, who assists me on Sundays there, and to our elders, to our brothers and sisters there in St. Louis, my auto tip. I trust you guys are doing absolutely blacktastic today. To the brothers and sisters in the African village of Youngstown, Ohio, I trust you guys are doing good as well. Hey, man, I pray constantly for you guys up there, and it's starting to get cold, and I know what it's like in the wintertime up there in Youngstown, Ohio, so I'll be keeping y'all in a whole lot of prayer up there, okay? To that brothers and sisters in the African village of Detroit, Mahatotep, the African village of New York City. Yeah, man, with Waziri Wells and the brothers and sisters there, to Minister Asante there, Kwame, and everybody, man. It's just good to you guys, to the African village of Memphis, Tennessee. Yeah, of course, you got to, and I'm gonna be on the air with them this evening with Pastor Norman Redwing. They're on the air now. They're in Memphis on Sunday evenings. I believe it's at 6 o'clock. And hey, we're gonna be talking about some good stuff. Okay, and to our friends and supporters from everywhere. All right, to our friends in Florida, down in the Virgin Islands, in Guyana, South America, and to Ghana, the motherland, South Africa. Oh my goodness, brothers and sisters everywhere, brothers and sisters who listen to us on military bases around the world, up in the UK, just everywhere. It's good to have you guys joining with us today. Yeah, well, let's continue by doing our oath to the ancestors at this time. All right, so let's lift our voices together and honor those who have gone before us and made it possible for us to be where we are right here and right now. Okay, for their life, their deeds, their legacy and sacrifice and contributions. Let's honor them today. All right, lift our voices together and say these words. O ancestors, blacker than 1,000 midnights, African ancestors, it is to you that we, your children, give respect and honor. O ancestors, we call upon you and welcome you in this place. African ancestors, let your presence fill this place. O ancestors, who have been purposely excluded from the history books, so that the world would not know of your greatness. Our African ancestors, who gave civilization to the world. Our African ancestors, who gave the arts to the world. Our African ancestors, who gave music to the world. Our African ancestors, who gave the sciences to the world. Our African ancestors, who gave mathematics to the world. Our African ancestors, who gave medicine to the world. Our African ancestors, who gave literature to the world. Our African ancestors, who gave philosophy to the world. Our African ancestors, who gave God consciousness to the world. Oh, ancestors, we thank you for devoting your life to make a future for us, your children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. Now stand with us, strengthen us, guide us, teach us, and protect us from the snare of our enemies. Rise up, O African ancestors, and let our enemies be scattered, and give us the wisdom and the boldness to deal with our oppressors and those who would hinder the liberation and empowerment of our people. Rise up, O African ancestors, and live in us. We will not fail to honor you. We will not fail to respect you. We will not fail to hear you, and we will not betray you. Ashe. Ebo.
And now, brothers and sisters, we want to take the time to honor just a few of the great Africans who have gone ahead of us. We call forth their great African names and honor them. To pharaohs Narmer, Zoser, Sneferu, Khufu, Khafre, Menkaure, and the great vizier and physician and multi-genius Imhotep, we say Ashe. To Queen Nitocris, Queen Sobek Neferu, Queen Ahotep, Queen Amos Nefertari, Queen King Hatshepsut, Nefertiti, Queen T, and Queen Nefertari II, we say Ashe. To Menkepen Ratahudi Mays, known as Thutmose III, Amenhotep III, Akhenaten, Tutankhamun, Ursama Atra, Setepenra, Rametsu Meriamun, Ramses II, Shabaka, Taharka, Hannibal, and the great African warrior Shaka Zulu, we say Ashe. To all of the kings, queens, priests, and warriors of Nubia, Waset, Ethiopia, Kemet, Kenya, the Congo, Tanzania, Uganda, Central, South, and West Al-Kibu land, we say Ashe. To the more than 600 million Africans whose lives were lost in the European invasions of Africa and in the Middle Passage, we say Ashe. To the more than 300 million who have since lost their lives to racism and hate crimes, we say Ashe. To Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass, Mary McLeod Bethune, Nat Turner,
Ashe.
Fannie Lou Hamer,
Ashe.
Sojourner Truth,
Ashe.
Carter G. Woodson,
Ashe.
Booker T. Washington,
Ashe.
Dr. Charles Drew,
Ashe.
Noble Drew Ali,
Ashe.
Benjamin Banneker,
Ashe.
George Washington Carver,
Ashe.
Bishop Richard Allen,
Ashe.
Bishop Charles Harrison Mason,
Ashe.
Howard Thurman,
Ashe.
Mother Mahalia Jackson,
Oh, yes,
the Honorable
Ashe.
Marcus Messiah Garland,
Ashe. We honor
Benjamin
their
E. May,
names today.
Langston
Ashe.
Hughes,
Ashe.
Medgar Evers,
Ashe.
Paul Robeson,
Ashe.
Dr. Martin Luther King,
Ashe.
Malcolm X,
Ashe.
Thurgood Marshall,
Ashe.
Mother Clara Hale,
Ashe.
Adam Clayton Powell,
Ashe.
the Honorable Elijah Muhammad,
Ashe.
Dr. Amos Wilson,
Dr. Yusef
Dr. John
Benjamin.
Henrik Clark,
Yes.
Dr. John G.
Dr.
Johnson,
Asa Hilliard.
Dr. Shikanta Diaz,
Yes.
Dr. Chancellor
John
Williams,
Lewis.
Dr. George
Brother
G.
Sister
James,
Tyson.
Patrice Lumumba,
Chadwick Boseman.
Kwame Ture,
Ashe.
Kwame Nkrumah,
Yes,
Dr.
Ashe.
Khalid Muhammad,
Ashe.
Dr. Jacob Carruthers,
Ashe.
Dr. Ishaka Musa Badashango,
Ashe.
Brother Ray Charles,
Ashe.
to our mothers and
Brother
fathers,
Carlton Muhammad.
our grandmothers and grandfathers,
Ashe.
to our great-grandmothers and great-grandfathers,
Ashe.
our brothers and sisters,
Ashe.
sons and daughters,
Ashe.
aunts and uncles,
Ashe.
nieces,
Brother
nephews,
James
cousins,
Drayton.
all
Ashe.
those who have gone ahead of us
Ashe.
and have made their ancestral transition
Yes,
to
Ashe.
their life, deeds, legacy, and contributions. We say,
Ashe.
Again, we say,
Ashe.
Again, we say,
Ashe. Yes, we honor their African names today. Oh, Allahu Akbar. Oh, yes. Alhamdulillah. Join in with me, brothers and sisters, and say, Allahu Akbar. Oh, yes. Alhamdulillah. The English translation of these words: God is great and he's worthy to be praised. I say hallelujah. God is great and he's worthy to be praised. Oh, yes, yes, yes. I say hallelujah. God make us one. We all should be one. And then the unbelievers will come and say you are with us. God make us one. Yeah. We all should be one. And then the unbelievers will come and say you are with us. God make us one. We all should be one. And then the unbelievers will come. They will say you are with us. Oh, yes. Alhamdulillah. Yeah. Allahu Akbar. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Yes, brothers and sisters, Allahu Akbar, which are the Arabic words for the English translation, God is great. We say, Alhamdulillah, he's worthy to be praised. Therefore, we say, hallelujah. Oh, my goodness. It's so good to be with you guys once again. I trust that you're doing okay today, wherever you are right now. You know, we're still praying for our brothers and sisters who are members of the bereaved families. Okay, yes, brothers and sisters, we're still keeping everybody in prayer. The family of our former chief of security who passed away, Brother Carlton Muhammad, we're keeping his family in our prayers. His mother Betty Filer, and his sons, his daughter, we're just keeping them in our prayers, family. It's something, man, when those who are close to you have to leave, okay, and go into that other realm of the ancestors, and you miss their physical presence, and hey, man, so let's keep our loved ones and our friends in our prayers who have lost family members and lost loved ones. Again, I trust you guys are doing okay. I trust you're taking care of yourself, keeping safe. And hey, man, we're going to get right into the teaching for today. All right. And I got a serious message for you today, one that's going to seriously make you do some thinking. All right. I posted some stuff on my Facebook page this past week because of what's been impressed upon me as far as our moving to the next level in our awareness. Okay. And it's important to understand, brothers and sisters, the culture that has shaped our thinking. Okay. A lot of times we don't think about that. We don't think about the influence that culture has on us. All right. Why we do the things we do, why we think the way we think, why we say the things we say. And it's because of the culture in our environment. You learn from osmosis or by osmosis, things around you in your environment. You pick it up, you begin to practice it. That also holds true for your religious environment as well. And many of you who grew up in the church, okay, as I did, all right, you see this book called the Bible as you know what, let's do this before I go any further. I've been forgetting to do this lately. Okay, I've been forgetting to do this. All right, let's make a circle like this. All right, and repeat after me. The space inside this circle represents my realm of knowledge. All that I think I know about whatever I think I know is depicted right here within this circle. I must keep in mind that there is more to know than what is within the circumference of my awareness. All right. I start my teachings off with that illustration because I know I'm going to say something that's outside of your circumference of awareness. Okay. And what happens is when someone says something that's outside of your circumference of awareness, which is against the stuff that you already have on your reticular activating system, your immediate response is to resist it. You have a problem with it. It's because it's new information to you, or it's not what you've been taught. And then on top of it, religion has also taught us, okay, or programmed us to reject and resist anything that we hear that's not in accordance with the indoctrination that we received in that particular religion. Understand what I'm saying here, okay? So it makes it a little difficult to learn unless you're being taught the concepts and precepts and doctrines of that particular religious organization, okay? It's time for us to outgrow that stuff. It's time for us to come away from that. If we're going to empower ourselves as Africans, it's time for us to come away from that. Okay. If we're going to unify ourselves as a people, it's time for us to come away from the divisions that come as a result of believing in various religions. Once you understand, brothers and sisters, and this is what I posted on my Facebook page this week. Once you understand that the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, the Talmud, the Book of Mormon, the Tripitaka, the Vedas, the Tao Te Ching, the New World Translation of the Holy Scriptures, or any other religious book. Once you realize that these books are not history books, they're holy books because people respect them. They're sacred books because of the attitude that people have about them. Okay? So, out of respect to people's feelings and emotions about these books that they believe in, I'm not going to degrade the books. Understand what I'm saying? Because people believe in these books. So, to the believers in these literature, okay, the book is holy to them. But we must understand, as holy as you might think your book is, It is not a history book. So important to understand that. Once you understand that none of these books are history books, then all of the confusion that comes from religion will completely disappear. Understand, brothers and sisters, no person or event, not one person or event mentioned in any religious book ever existed on the stage of world history. Okay, understand that we were taught allegory as fact. Did you understand what I just said? We were taught allegory as fact. And I also posted earlier this week that the most effective liar is someone who honestly believes that they are telling you or preaching to you the truth. That's so important to understand, brothers and sisters. That is your most effective liar, the person who genuinely believes that they are telling you the truth. All right, let's get into the teaching for today. I want to talk to you from this subject today. Don't break the microscope. All right, and I want to start off with an analogy that I have used so many times before. So if you've heard this before, please bear with me as I explain it again for those who might not have heard it. All right, I want to tell you about this stream, a sacred stream in South America. The tribe that lived in the village where this stream flowed through. One morning, the elder of the village got up and went for a walk before the sun came up. And as the sun rose while he was walking, the rays of the sun reflected off the water in the stream. As he looked at the glistening reflection of the rays of the sun off the water, it was so beautiful to him that he bowed in submission to the greatness of the Most High God. When he went back to the village, he testified of his experience. And he told the people in the village, I saw the wonder and glory of God in the stream today. And he said it with such emotion and such power that it became a story to repeat among the villagers. Well, a couple of generations later, that story got twisted into saying that God was in the stream. And a couple of generations later, it got twisted even some more to end up saying that the stream is God. And the young people in that village grew up worshiping this stream, believing it is God. One day, a group of scientists came through and visiting the village, they noticed that the villagers were worshiping this stream as God, thinking that it was deity and that it had power. So one of the scientists took it upon himself to try to help the villagers understand the truth about the stream. He went in his bag and took out a microscope, got a sample of water from the stream, placed it under the microscope, and had the villagers look into the microscope at what he took from the stream. When they looked into the microscope and saw the bacteria and the organisms in the water crawling around, all looking all, of course, it was really large to them, right? Looking through the microscope. They looked in the microscope and jumped back in dismay. What are all these ugly things here in our sacred water? This is God. This is holy. There's nothing impure about God. So they called a meeting, a council meeting. And when they came out of the council meeting, they were dancing and rejoicing. Rejoicing, and the scientist got excited because he thought that he had enlightened them to something. They came dancing over to where the scientist was with his microscope, and they reached out to him, and the scientists thought that they were giving him honor and praise for opening their eyes to the truth. They grabbed the microscope out of the scientist's hand, threw the microscope down on the ground, and broke it and began to stomp it. And after the microscope was destroyed, they went back to their normal routine. What is the message there to be learned? Right? This story is a picture of everyone who is convinced about what they believe, but have never stopped to confirm or verify if what you've been taught to believe is true or not. You were told to have faith in what you were taught. You were taught to believe it. And many of us in our growing up years, we believed, we ingested, and then we digested what we were taught by our parents and by our religious teachers who we trusted. And I understand that. I understand that. But then we became adults, still believing our childhood teachings to the point to where we're convinced that what we were taught to believe is in fact true. Brothers and sisters, you should not believe something because some old manuscripts have been produced. Understand what I'm saying here. You should not believe something because it's your national belief. Neither should you believe something because you have been made to believe it from childhood, like most of us do when it comes to religion. Otherwise, you may be convinced of what might be true instead of what must be true. Rather, you should reason truth out. You should search for it, dig for it, long for it, crave for it. Search it out, man. And once you've searched truth out and after you've analyzed it and find that it is good for you and others, then know it. Don't believe it, know it. The biblical text says, and you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. But it's not really just the truth that makes you free, brothers and sisters. It's the knowledge of the truth that makes you free. Understand this. And then once you know the truth, live up to it and help other people do the same. A very bad and dangerous habit, oh my goodness, is incorporating what you have been told to believe. Follow what I'm saying. Incorporating what you have been told to believe without verifying, analyzing, okay, whether or not what you've heard is in fact true or not. Yet, brothers and sisters, we do this in many areas of our life. We do it when it comes to a rumor that we've heard. Some of you guys got the ministry of carrying rumors and gossip, and you pass it and run on with it like you know it's true. when it comes to different opinions, many of us ingest and digest other people's opinions without verifying to see if it's true or not. And most importantly, we do it with our religious indoctrinations and beliefs that we get from our various religions. We accept what we were taught, and then we repeat what we were taught. If we, when we get older, some of us, I know I did it. When I reached a certain age, I felt that God had called me to the ministry, right? And I became a preacher because I was the son of a preacher, a pastor. And I began to regurgitate. And I know many people don't like that term, but I began to regurgitate, which means to vomit up what you have eaten or digested. Okay, well, that's what I was doing. I was vomiting up what I had been taught. And I'm using the term vomit because it was not true. Okay, it was information that brought deception. It was information that brought powerlessness. It was information that was not spiritually nutritious. And this is what I brought back up, what was in me, okay? As many of our preachers today do. Yes, brought it back up because that's what I had been fed. We wholeheartedly believe and defend, brothers and sisters, what we cannot prove. And we readily reject what we cannot we readily reject and disbelieve what we cannot disprove. And that's so important for us to understand. Family, we need to develop the habit of checking out what the teacher said. That's why you hear me say, if you've listened to me any amount of time at all, you've heard me say, don't take my word for what I'm saying. Do your own research. In fact, brothers and sisters, I don't want you to believe what I'm saying, because believe means you don't know. After you hear what I've said and you noted what I've said, go do some research to validate what I've said or try to invalidate what I've said. Understand how this goes, man. I don't want you to be brainwashed. I don't want you to repeat something simply because Dr. Ray said it. I want you to know what you're talking about. Don't be like the many of us who grew up in church, who are repeating what we heard growing up. In fact, some of, brothers and sisters, I remember when I was younger, I used to, get up in church and testify. Okay? And I used to sound just like the elders testifying. You know why? That's what I learned by osmosis. That's what I learned from my environment. Giving honor to God, the pastor, ministers, deacons, saints, and friends. Everybody said that. So that's what I said. Right? Truly, I do thank God for being here another day. I pressed my way to the church today. I'm doggone it 10 years old. What do you mean I pressed my way? That's what the old folks said. So that's what I said. That became the habit. And just like I regurgitated what I heard testified, when I went into the ministry, I regurgitated what I heard preached all my life. Understand what I'm saying? Okay? I'll never forget my first message, what they call your trial message. It was entitled The Name Jesus. I preached it as my trial message. It was my mom's message, one of the messages that she had preached. And so I chose to preach that message. And I remember to this day the 5 points that I shared. The name Jesus is a saving name. It's a conquering name. It's a healing name. It's an omnipotent name, and it's an omniscient name. Okay, y'all, man, I remember all four. And what really did it is I was able to bring out all 5 points preaching style in the Pentecostal church. It's a conquering name, ooh, a healing name, a saving name, all that kind of stuff. And of course, I got patted on the back and received an applause and was awarded my minister's license, which meant I did a good job and told the truth. So I thought. You understand how this goes? Okay? Understand, brothers and sisters. When it comes to your soul, when it comes to your psyche, your mind, and what we feed it, the only thing that we should feed our mind and feed our spirit is something called truth. Not tradition, truth. Okay? But truth has a very powerful and effective enemy, and that enemy is called religion. And nothing has been more damaging to the receiving of truth as religion. Nothing has been as damaging to the receiving of truth as religion. Understand how deep this goes, brothers and sisters. I posted something on my Facebook page, or I think I did, or I don't know where I wrote, if I wrote about it or what. Listen, I've been doing so much writing this week, and I brought out the post had to do with why does the Bible refer to Jesus and Lucifer in the same manner? You can imagine how much flack and resistance I received from that article that I wrote. Okay, but all I'm trying to do is get people to think. You see, that's the problem. Did you not know that the Roman Catholic Church actually decreed that it is unlawful to think anything other than what your religious leader has taught you? The Roman Catholic Church decreed in the year 451 AD at the Council of Chalcedon that you are not even allowed to think anything otherwise than what you have been taught by Roman Catholic bishops. Because if you think anything other than what they have taught you, you are to be anathematized, to be placed under a curse. Understand how deep this goes, y'all. Okay? And then they put it in the biblical text that says, if any man come unto you, right, with any other teaching than that which we have preached unto you, any other gospel than that which we have preached unto you, let him be anathema. Okay? This is what Roman Catholic bishops put together. Now, here's the thing about it. You've been taught that. You've been taught that part right there. If anybody come to you with any other gospel other than what we have already preached to you, let him be anathema. You've been taught that, but you were not taught that the very people who said that are the people who fabricated what you were taught. Do you understand what I'm saying? The people who made up these lies then turned around and put a built-in self-defense mechanism in those lies. They made up the lies and then told you, if anybody comes unto you teaching you anything other than this right here, let them be accursed. And you believe that. You obey that. So when someone comes along to try to get you to exercise your critical thinking skills, because that's all you have to do, y'all, to get rid of the lie. All you have to do to dispel the lies is think. All you got to do is think. Okay? Because lies, when you begin to analyze them and dissect them, they don't make sense. They become contradictory. You be saying, well, if this is true, then how can this be? Then how can that be? That's what happens when you think, when you exercise your critical thinking faculty. But when you don't exercise your critical thinking faculties and you just believe because you've been indoctrinated to believe, you were actually taught that it is more of a blessing to believe than to know. And they use the illustration of doubting Thomas. Okay? This story, follow me here, this story about the resurrected Jesus coming into the upper room where the disciples were. And they didn't believe it was him. Thomas didn't believe it was him. And he showed the disciples the hands in the holes in his hands. Said, y'all look at the holes in my hands if you don't believe it's me. And that's when they believed it was him, according to the story. But Thomas, the doubting one, came over to him and put his finger in the holes in Jesus's hands, according to the story. And then he believed and fell to his knees, right? And according to the story, Jesus said unto him, you believe because you have seen. Okay, but blessed are those who believe and have not seen. In other words, the teaching there is it's more of a blessing to not have the evidence and still believe it. That's not, people, y'all see the programming here? I hope you follow what I'm saying. The programming here is it's more important for you not to have proof. It's more important for you not to have evidence. It's more important not for you to be able to empirically speak about with evidence and facts the truth. No, it's more important that you believe a fantasy. It's more important that you believe a fable. It's more important that you believe a lie. That's what religion wants you to do. So when I posted the post this week about the question was, who is the morning star? Jesus or Lucifer? Because the Bible refers to Jesus as the bright and morning star. The Bible refers to Lucifer as the star of the morning. Now, the deep thing about it is that's how it's stated in English. So because it's translated to be read in English, whenever you translate something, you lose some of the connotation to it. Okay, but in its original verbiage, etymologically, bright and morning star and star of the morning are the same identical thing. Understand how deep this is. Just the idea, just the thought, just saying the possibility of Jesus and Lucifer being one and the same caused some folk, man, to get lit. I mean, I received some very negative comments this week behind that thought. All right. And all I'm doing is asking a question. Did you know that the Bible refers to Lucifer and Jesus in the same way as the bright and morning star or the star of the morning? And people had a fit. Brothers and sisters, what if I was to ask you that, okay, who's the bright and morning star? What would your answer be? If I was to ask you who's the star of the morning, according to the Bible, what would your answer be? Okay. Well, if you look at Isaiah 14 and 12, and I believe the other is Revelation 22 and 16, verse 14, 15, 16, somewhere in there. Revelation, you see that Jesus calls himself the bright and morning star. And in Isaiah, the 14th chapter, 12th verse, you'll see that Lucifer is referred to as the star of the morning. I didn't make that up. That's in the biblical text. And again, in the English languages, the wording is identical. So I'm simply asking a question. That's all. Since the Bible refers to them both as the same or in the same way. Okay? I don't know if you ever thought about it, brothers and sisters. Okay? But the people in the Protestant church, let me show you, I want to show you where all this stuff comes from. Okay? It comes from Roman Catholic priests, bishops. As I told you, they wrote all the doctrines here. Okay? The Roman Catholic bishops in ecumenical council meetings wrote the doctrines that are taught in the church, both Catholic and Protestant. Well, what's the Protestant church? For those of you who don't know, the Protestant church is the Catholic church. The only difference is that Protestants don't believe in going to your sins. Going to the priest to confess your sins. Okay, that's what Martin Luther, the theologian, the German theologian, protested against. Okay, and he protested, Protestant, got me? Okay, he protested against this Catholic practice of going to the priest to confess your sins. So it started a division. All right, another part of the Roman Catholic Church referred to as the Protestant Church. However, Protestants today will deny being connected to Catholicism, and I get a kick out of asking people, are you Catholic? And they'll say, no, I'm Baptist, or no, I'm Pentecostal. No, I'm not Catholic. I'm Lutheran, or I'm Presbyterian, or I'm Episcopalian. Okay, or that's not realizing, because they don't know any better, not realizing that whatever denomination that they're naming, all of those denominations, the teachings and doctrines of those denominations were still written by Roman Catholic bishops in ecumenical council meetings. Understand this, okay? So it's important, brothers and sisters, it's imperative for you to understand that much of your thinking, in fact, much more of your thinking than you realize, has been shaped by religion, by religious ideas, by religious concepts, by church doctrines and teachings. Even when you think you've moved away from it, much of your influence is still governed by what you and I were taught. This is one of the reasons why I tell people, when I say my mission, what is my assignment? My assignment is to begin the process of undoing and reversing ideas and concepts that's been programmed into the minds of our people by religious doctrines and church statements. Understand this, that have caused us to lose contact with what is real, have caused us to lose contact with what is factual, have caused us to lose contact with what is historical, but most of all, it has caused us to lose contact with what is spiritual. Understand this. And that's my assignment, to begin the process of reversing all that. Because many of us, even though we say we're liberated, and many of us know the truth that this whole Christian program is a fabrication of the Roman Catholic Church, even though you know that, and many of you know that the whole program of Islam is a fabrication as well as Buddhism, as well as Hinduism, all of these religions are control mechanisms that are expressions of a culture. Understand this, brothers and sisters. I hope I'm making sense to you. Religion is nothing more than the deification of a culture. All right? And that's why people who are born in various geographical locations are more apt to adapt the religion of that culture. For example, if a person's been born in Japan, chances are they're going to be a Buddhist. Even though Eurocentric European Christianity is beginning to spread by force and take over throughout the world. All right, you must understand the Roman conquest. Okay, Christianity and world conquest. I did a lecture on that. Understand it. Okay, but culturally speaking, for example, in the area of what they call the Middle East, the cultural belief system is Islam, Muslims. Okay, and in Indonesia, okay, the cultural belief there is Hinduism in India. So you have Hinduism there, all right? In Europe, the cultural belief system is Christianity. In the Nile Valley, the cultural belief system is Kemetic spirituality. Okay, in Mexico, the spiritual belief system is Quetzalcoatlism there. All right, in Persia, the cultural belief system is Zoroastrianism. All of these religions, man. Okay, and most of you only know about one, and that's because it was forced upon you by those who enslaved us. And you think that that's the only religion. You think that's the only way to God. You think that's the truth. When in reality, the religion that most of us have been programmed into is mostly the most recent religion devised belief system on the planet. They're the Johnny come lates of all of the other belief systems that they stole pieces of from and formulated their indoctrinations and religion called Christianity. Understand what I'm saying. The entire story of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. That's old. That's from a previous religion, y'all. Okay? Understand how this goes. The original the first story of an Adam and Eve, okay, was of Enki and Ninti. Write it down. Enki was the guy's name, and the woman's name was Ninti, Ninti. Ninti. Write it down. Don't take my word for what I'm saying. Look it up. Enki and Ninti. Okay? Enki ate some herbs that were poisonous. He became terminally ill, and he prayed to the gods. Okay, and Neil Ea. Prayed to the god Ea to send him somebody to heal him. So the gods sent him a woman by the name of Ninti, Ninti. And the word Ninti means woman of the rib. Isn't that deep? Woman of the rib. So you see where they stole and copied and plagiarized that. It created their story called Adam and Eve and told you that Eve came from the rib of Adam. Brothers and sisters, please learn to analyze. Please learn to put on your critical thinking cap and begin to appropriate that critical thinking to the processes and the programming that you've been taught so you can free your African mind. Because as long as you keep believing what you've been taught, you will be enslaved to the agenda of that teaching. I hope I'm making sense to you, brothers and sisters. Okay? Everything that we've been taught came from the mind of Roman Catholic bishops. And it's time for you to free your African mind. Okay? However, freeing the mind requires steps to it. And the first step, let me just tell you what the first step is. Here's my job as a teacher. Here's my job as a liberator. The first job or the first step that I have in freeing the minds of a people who have been misinformed is I have to understand what it is that has blocked my people from attaining freedom. Understand this as the teacher. You as a student, you must understand what has blocked you from attaining freedom. Free the dome. Free the dome. You have to understand what it is that has blocked you from experiencing that freedom. You have to understand what has blocked you from experiencing what it says in Romans 12, 1 and 2. Which is, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable unto God, which is a reasonable service, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. The only way your mind can be renewed, brothers and sisters, is you have to learn how to think. Okay, as long as you are regurgitating what you've been taught, you'll never experience the renewed mind. Understand how this goes. Understand how this goes. So you must understand what has blocked you from attaining freeing the dome or freedom, from what blocked you from what attaining freedom, and then you must crush that obstruction. That's what I'm trying to do, brothers and sisters. Every time I stand behind this camera, every time I teach, whether it's virtually or in person, I'm trying to crush the obstruction that has caused our people to be mentally dead. In order to bring salvation or liberation, same word, in order to bring liberation to a people who have been miseducated, I, as the teacher, must first of all show you where and how you have been miseducated. In other words, I have to be a microscope. I have to be able to enable you to see what you normally would not see with the naked eye. I have to be able to disseminate the facts in such a way that it breaks forth the truth in your mind, in your spirit. I have to be able to present the truth to you in such a way that you can clearly see what the deceiver does not want you to see. I have to be your microscope. Only thing I ask, brothers and sisters, is that you don't act like them folk in that village and choose to break the microscope. Don't break the microscope. I'm just showing you the truth. That's all. Yes, brothers and sisters. I'm trying to get you to understand how religion becomes the truth. How? Religion becomes the truth because it's believed to be the truth. Did that make sense? Religion becomes the truth because you believe what you are told to be the truth. And that happens in three ways. Number one, you receive what you hear. You receive what you see. You receive what you experience. Secondly, okay, you refuse to analyze what you see, what you hear, and what you experience. You receive it, you refuse to analyze it, and thirdly, you accept it because you incorporate it into the very fiber of your life, and with conviction, you begin to pass it on to others as you grow older. The real tragedy here, brothers and sisters, is when we become entrenched in what we believe, not entrenched in what you know, but entrenched in what you believe. And then when someone comes along with knowledge instead of belief, you have a fit. You have a fit because you did not exercise your critical thinking faculty in the first place. I've come along, I've taught people the truth, and I've had people say to me, well, I hear what you're saying, but how you know that's the truth? How you know that's right? And then I asked them, did you ask that when you were taught, okay, that Jesus walked on water? way you taught that? Did you ask that question then? Okay, did you ask that question when you were taught that he took 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread and fed 5,000 men, not counting women and children? Okay, which means he must have fed closer to 15,000 if it had actually happened. Did you ask that question then? Did you ask, was that true? Did you ask when he was born of a virgin and born in a manger and a stable? Okay, did you ask that, was that true? Did you ask, did 3 wise men actually follow a star? Okay, from the east, a star from the east, and they traveled over 3,000 miles in a couple of days on camelback? Did you ask if that was true then? Understand what I'm saying here, y'all. We believed what we were taught to believe. Did you ask if it was true that Jonah got swallowed by a fish, but yet you preach it? Did you verify to see if it was true or not, whether the 3 Hebrew boys was in a fiery furnace? Did you stop to verify that, but yet you preach it? Okay? Did you stop to verify if Elijah was taken up in a fiery wheel? Okay? Did you stop to verify any of that? Did you stop to verify if God really destroyed the earth with a flood? Okay, and Noah and his 3 sons repopulated the planet. Did you stop to verify that, or did you believe it simply because you read it in the book that they gave you to believe in? Understand how this goes, y'all. Don't break the microscope. Don't get upset with me. Okay, I'm trying to make you think, because if I can get you to think, I've done my job. You see, the real tragedy, y'all, is when we become entrenched in a belief, and that belief is not based in fact, but it's based in ideas and opinions, and we close our minds to anything outside of what we think we already know. What we think we already know. Listen to this carefully. The act of psycho-intellectually blinding someone. Psycho-intellectually blinding someone is bestowing lies upon them and then making them live and teach those lies to future generations. And that's exactly what is happening in religion. Most of my brothers and sisters who are preachers and teachers, okay, you are preaching what was preached to you. You are teaching what was taught to you, okay, and you have not stopped to validate or verify if what was taught to you was true. So guess what? You, just like I did for well over several decades, just like I did, you're bestowing lies upon people, okay? And then making the people live and teach those lies to others, future generations. Even right now, this day is, I'm teaching you, there are pastors and churches all over the world teaching the very lies that they were taught. And they're teaching it with conviction. Understand this. Again, the Bible says in John 8:32, and you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. But it's not quite accurate, because the truth doesn't make you free. It's the knowledge of the truth that makes you free. So you have to understand that verse in this context when it says, and you shall know the truth. It didn't say, and you shall believe the truth. Okay? It says, and you shall know the truth. And it's this knowing that will make you free, brothers and sisters, when it comes to things that pertain to our spirituality, things that pertain to God. The major stronghold that prevents our liberation and empowerment is something called religion. And in order to falsify the consciousness of a person, or a people, you must first manipulate their story. You got to manipulate manipulate their history. And to manipulate a people's history is to manipulate a people's consciousness. And to manipulate a people's consciousness is to manipulate a people's possibilities. And to manipulate a people's possibilities is to manipulate those people's power. And that's what Eurocentric historiography has done to us, y'all. You have to understand the purpose, the function of Eurocentric writing and historiography. The principal function of Eurocentric historiography is to separate us Africans, is to separate us from the reality of ourselves, who we are, what we are. The principal function of Eurocentric historiography and writing and literature is to separate us from the reality of the world, to separate us from the reality of our story, and to separate us from the ramifications and power of knowing our story. Yes, y'all. I'm closing this. I'm getting ready to close this. But understand, y'all, understand, the most powerful psychopathology, and I'm speaking now as a therapist, as a psychotherapist, the most powerful psychopathology is the belief in something simply because you want it to exist. My job, my assignment as the microscope is to show you what you have not seen. Just like those villagers didn't see the ugly bacteria in the water that they thought was holy. Just like those villagers did not see the viruses in the water that they thought was pure and holy. And they could not bear the truth of knowing that these contaminants was in the water that they were drinking for healing their bodies. They couldn't bear the truth of knowing that this stream that they thought was God is not what we thought it was. They couldn't bear the truth because of what they have now come to know as a result of looking through this microscope. So what did they do? They shattered the microscope. They broke the microscope. I know that's what some of y'all want to do, okay? Because you say you can't handle. What I'm saying is too hard for you to bear. Brothers and sisters, surgery is painful. Understand that. That's why they have to put you to sleep to operate on you, okay? They have to put you to sleep. Even local anesthesia sometimes doesn't work. Depends on what kind of surgery it is. They have to put you to sleep to work on you, okay? Well, y'all been asleep. You've been asleep. I'm working on you. Now I'm bringing you up out of that sleep. And my job is to free your African mind. Yes, doggone it, I'm going to do my job. I'm going to free your mind, man. And you know what the good thing about it is? Once you hear what I've said, doggone it, you cannot unhear what I've said. I've had people say to me, man, when I first heard you, even the chef, my brother in Charleston said, I rebuked you, man. I went on a war path for rebuking you. But the thing about it is you can't unhear the truth. Okay? You might try to get rid of it. You might try to dispel it from your mind. But once you hear the truth, you cannot get rid of it. Understand it. And brothers and sisters, I'm trying to free you from the lies that you have been taught to want to exist. I'm trying to free you from the misconceptions that you have been programmed to want to exist. Okay? I'm trying to free your mind. You have to ask yourself, why? Ask yourself, why do you want Adam and Eve to have existed? Why do you want them to have existed? Ask yourself, why do you want for Moses to have existed? Think with me. Why do you want or even need for David to have existed? Why do you want or need for Jesus to have existed? I just hit a nerve for some of y'all. I can hear some of y'all saying, oh, no, wait a minute, you done messed up down. You done messed up. Yeah, same, still another character in sacred literature. Why do you have a need for Paul to have existed? Why? Why, brothers and sisters? And the reason why I'm asking why is because none of these characters are part of our African story. None of them. So why, African people? Why, my brothers and sisters who are sons and daughters and descendants of our motherland, why do you need for these people who are not a part of our African cosmogony they're not a part of our African philosophical anthropology? They're not a part of it. So why do we African people want for these Eurocentric fabrications to have existed? Why? Think, doggone it. I'll tell you why. We want for them to exist. In fact, we need for them to exist so that we will have some sense of an explanation about who and what we are. Did you get what I just said? I know what I'm saying is right. You know how I can say that? Because there are too many of you out there who are claiming that you are a descendant of Shem, claiming that you are Hebrew or an Israelite. There are too many of you out there claiming that you are a descendant of Japheth, claiming that you are a Jew, okay, or an Arab or a Muslim. There are too many of you out there who are claiming to be descendants of Mizraim and Foot, Libya. Yes. Okay, understand that these are biblical characters. And you're claiming that you're an African after who was the son? Who is it? Noah's son that black folks supposedly came from. Ham. So you got black folk claiming that they're Hamites or Hamitic or Camitic. Because you say, because one of Ham's sons is Mizraim or Egypt. That's what Mizraim means, Egypt. So you think that you came from what the Bible says you came from. See, it's so sad, brothers and sisters. We want these fictitious people to exist because we need to believe who the Bible says we are, because who and what we are have been lost to us. We've been so deracinated, meaning we've been cut off from the root of the awareness of ourselves. And because you don't know who you are, you look to the literature that they gave us to find an identity for yourself. And that's why you're calling yourself something you are not. Brothers and sisters, we must understand what happened to us. I'm talking to my brothers and sisters now who are practicing the religion of the Roman Catholic Church. We must understand what has happened to us. We must understand what happened to us, how it happened to us. We must understand how our mind was stolen from us and how we were given another mind to believe in. We must understand how another standard was set for us, which is not our standard, but a standard of an invader who gained the trust of our people by intermarrying into African nations. And most of this intermarriage took place between European men and African women. And once marriage took place and the mulattoes were born, the mulattoes did not know whose side they were on. So they usually took the side of the fathers. And this gave Europeans more influence in the African nationalities and the structures of the African families. And consequently, much of our history and culture have been destroyed, because the invaders came in and messed us up. But God always sends a prophet, a messenger. And believe me, I'm not claiming to be a prophet. Okay? I don't make such claims. I don't claim to be a prophet. I don't claim to be an apostle. I don't claim to be in any of those things. Okay? Because personally, I believe that there's no need for those positions. But that's a whole nother discussion in and of itself. You see, an apostle is one who lays or establishes the foundation. Okay, and if you're establishing a foundation, all right, then an apostle would be needed. A prophet is one who is a mouthpiece, okay, for someone else. So when you say a prophet of God is a person who is a mouthpiece, just like a mouthpiece on a saxophone or a trumpet or tuba. The mouthpiece cannot make a sound on its own. Okay, the mouthpiece simply becomes the instrument or the voice of God, saying exactly what God said, exactly how God said it. Okay, that's what happened back in times past. Now you don't need that. You know why? Because you have the Spirit of God in you. You can hear the voice of God just like anybody else can hear the voice of God. All right, it's just a matter of, will you allow yourself to hear the voice of God? That's the key here. All right, will you allow yourself to hear the voice of God in you? If you would learn how to still yourself, quiet yourself, and hear what's happening in your spirit, then you will be able to hear the voice of God, because that's where the Most High, the Almighty, the Creator, God, whatever term you want to use, that's where God communicates with us in our spirit, not through the programming of religious indoctrination, brothers and sisters. Okay, let me try to close this, man. What is our remedy? What is our solution? I don't like to end a message without providing a remedy for our predicament. Okay, you may want to write these down. The first thing that we must do, brothers and sisters, before we can experience a remedy, okay, from our predicament here or a solution, is we must admit that we have been programmed. That's the first thing you got to do. And I know that's hard for many of you to do, because it's hard. Many of our people are not willing to undergo the first requirement necessary in eliminating the syndrome of ignorance. And that is to admit that we've been programmed by Europeans to respond in a self-destructive manner. You don't realize that you have been programmed the way you have. So therefore, it's hard for you to admit to being programmed. Okay? We seem to feel that it would be an insult to admit that we've been lied to. We seem to admit that, God wouldn't let us be deceived like we've been deceived. Well, this is precisely what happened to us, brothers and sisters. We were misled. The greatest deception in history was executed on the African people. And we must admit that this happened. We got to admit that this happened, okay, in order for us to move forward and ensure that it doesn't continue. We have to admit that it happened. It's important to understand why and how this happened to us and attempt to recondition our minds and the minds of our children to rescue our future. We need to return to our values of self-love, our values of self-appreciation, our values of appreciation for our family, our African values, oh my goodness, for unity. We must learn to love ourselves, family. without being able to love ourselves, we can't love anyone else. Understand this. Once love of self has been achieved, this love can be generated to our family and the community, and we'll stop killing each other. But at the present time, there is a deficiency in the area of self-love for ourselves as African people. You've been taught that to love yourself is to hate white folk. You've been taught that. And that's why a lot of y'all even having a problem expressing self-love. Because when you talk about loving yourself, they interpret that as hatred toward others. Ain't nobody hating nobody else because we loving ourselves. Understand this, man. We've lost touch with ourselves, man. Okay, we don't know who or what we have become. A wrong sense of who we are as a people, oh my goodness, is what messed up our self-esteem. All that's got to be corrected. If we could have a strong sense of self, that would help to cultivate who we are as a family and as a collective. Out of a sense of self, out of a sense of family and community, the concept of unity would be empowered among us as a people, and we'll come together. Like we sing in our fun song every Sunday, the African in you loves the African in me. Yes. African in you loves the African in me, man. When we come together, ain't nothing we can't do. The African in me loves the African in you. When we come together, there ain't nothing we can't do. Did you get that? That's unity. We sing it every week. But we've been allowing what's going on in our heads and our intellect, our division that's been programmed into us. We allowed it to keep us divided over idiosyncrasies and foolish, stupid stuff, childish stuff. Come on, people. We got work to do. Let us come together in empowerment and in unity. Yes, okay, let me get ready to bring this to an end. It's a wonderful thing, brothers and sisters, to know who you are. It's a wonderful thing, man, to live in that power of who you are. It's another thing to look at yourself and realize what you are. Learn to look in the mirror and talk to yourself and raise your consciousness. Walk in your power. Walk in your power. This week, I received email responses from 4 people thanking me, okay, for being able to go into their job, walking in their power, letting them know that they will be accepting their affidavit for exemption. Because they had all wrote to me, talking about the people in their job told them they couldn't accept the affidavit. Brothers and sisters, stop allowing people to tell you what you cannot do. Stop it. Okay, your word is power. Your word is power. You remember that phrase that they put out teaching our children how to refuse drugs? Just say no. Just say no. Real simple phrase, because they knew that possessed power. Don't allow influence who operate organizations who are operating in ignorance to influence your power. Don't allow people who are operating in ignorance, whether it's your supervisor, your HR, director of HR, whatever, who are operating in ignorance because that's what they've been told, to influence your power. Don't let them take your power from you. Hold your head up high and stand tall on the truth. And that's all an affidavit is. It's a statement of truth. It's a sworn statement. That's why it's notarized. and it has to be accepted as law or accepted as truth unless it can be proven otherwise. That's the power of an affidavit. Any notary public can tell you that. Okay? So, brothers and sisters, learn how to walk in your power. I'm going to save as many lives as I can. I'm going to rescue and free as many minds as I can. Doggone right. I'm going to be the microscope. Like it or not, I'm going to be the microscope to free the minds of people who have bacteria, the virus of false information in your psychoviscera, in your spirit. I got to purge you from that. I got to get that out of you. I got to give you a spiritual laxative. Yes, I got work to do. I got work to do. And while I'm on that note, I want to say thank you to those of you family members who have been helping me do my work. Thank you so very much for helping me do my work. You've been helping me with your support. Okay. And I'm going to ask that you do that right now as I bring this teaching for today to an end. Okay. Help me continue to do this work by sharing of your substance with us at this time. Okay. Yes. If you would, I certainly would appreciate it. Yeah, buddy. Let me be sure that we get this on the screen for you here. Okay. So you can make a donation to help. Oh, I put the wrong thing there. So that you can help us with a donation. Oh my goodness. I want to be sure I'm getting it right there. Where are we at? Here we go. Okay. Help us with a donation. Thank you, Dr. Herndon, by putting that on the screen there. Okay. Make your donations. If you're making a donation by way of PayPal, you see the address there, AfricanVillage1@AOL.com. Okay. If you're making your donation through Cash App, you see the donation. Wow, y'all ain't wasting no time. Thank you, man. I love me. You guys are something else. Wow. If you're making a donation through Cash App, as you see, it is #, Dr. Ray Hagins. Okay. 1G in my last name. All right. If you're making your thank you. Somebody else just made a donation here. Okay, you made it through PayPal. Oh my goodness, yeah. Thank you, Brother Winston. Thank you, man. Okay. If you're making your donation through Zelle, you see the address there. It's my email address, rayhagins@gmail.com. Thank you for you guys. Thank you guys for your continued support. It means everything in helping us get this work done, helping us get this word out to the masses. We have to free our people, brothers and sisters. We have to heal our people. We have to heal our people. Okay. No, I do not charge for the exemption forms, brothers and sisters. I don't do. We don't. We got to stop attaching money to everything. All right. When it comes to helping our people, that's one of the things I like about the doctors in the motherland. In our motherland, doctors get paid when the patient is healed. Okay. Here in the West, you have to pay. They have to have secured payment before you even get to the doctor's office. All right. That's why they wonder if you have insurance. Okay. No, family. Okay. We're trying to heal our people, man. Okay. There's no price tag attached to that. All right. So you can get the form by emailing me. All right. And y'all kind of be a little considerate of the brother. All right. I remember one day we talked about this and I had to email over 1,500 exemptions in one day. All right. So you guys, be considerate of a brother. No, if you need an exemption form, ask for it. That's what it's for. Okay. But be considerate of, again, this is what I mean when I say help support us so we can continue this work, because that takes a lot of time. Okay. And we don't do what we do for money, but we need money to be free to do what we do. Did that make sense? Okay. So in order to help us to continue to be free to do what we do, support us with your substance. Okay. And again, you see the address there of where to make your donation. Well, brothers and sisters, our time is up. I've enjoyed teaching you today. I hope you got something out of today's message. All right. I ask that you create a watch party, share this video with your family, with your friends, with people in your email group, okay, in your Facebook group or whatever. All right. Just share, create a watch party, and share the message. That's how we get this message of African liberation out to the masses. Okay. Once again, I mer all of you. Mer is the word used in the Nile Valley to say I love you. Okay. And you see what I had to do? I still had to end up saying it in English before you could get any benefit out of it. You understand what I'm saying? All right. I know sometimes it makes us feel closer to our origins, okay, or closer to that which we're trying to become more like when we speak the language of what we're trying to learn. All right. But the but to that, or the other side to that, is it means nothing if I don't know what it means. It's like saying assalamu alaikum. All right. Well, that's wonderful. But if I don't know what those words mean, then that's just sound in the air. And so we end up having to end up giving the interpretation of it, which means peace be unto you. Okay. So when I say mer, M-E-R, out of respect for our Nile Valley heritage, I'm using that term instead of the English word love, which if you understood the original meaning of that, you wouldn't use it because it has to do with sex, okay, and lust. All right, not mer, which means to cultivate the other person. Did you get that? All right, the English word love does not mean cultivate the other person. All right. There are 4 words, and that's another lecture. I'll go into that later. Okay. But the Kemetic term mer, when they say I mer you, again, we're using the English word love, but actually a better description for that would be to say I love you to cultivate you. I'm trying to help to make you better. That's what mer means. I'm cultivating you with what I feel for you, what I have for you. I want it to cultivate and make you better. That's what it means to say I mer you. Okay, so brothers and sisters, I'm doing what I'm doing because I mer you. I want to make you better. I want to free your mind from the enslavement of Eurocentric powerlessness. Okay, I'm trying to free your mind because I mer all of you. Understand? All right, cool. Let's get out of here by singing "You're Easy to Love." The African in me loves the African in you. When we come together, there ain't nothing we can't do because you're easy to love. Thank you for your donations. I hear the dings. I'm getting the notifications here on my phone. Thank you. Thank you, Denise. Yeah, Warren, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Carla. Yeah, thank you, Tom. Thank you, man. Yes, come on, everybody. The African in me. Love the African in you. When we come together, there ain't nothing we can't do. You're easy. You're easy. Easy to love. Yes, you're easy to love. Oh, yes. The African in me. Love the African in you. When we come together, ain't nothing we can't do, 'cause you're easy. You're easy. Yeah, 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 yeah. You're easy to love. You're so easy to love. Yes, the power in me. Love the power in you. When we come together, there ain't nothing we can't do, 'cause you're easy. You're easy. You're easy to love. Yes, you're easy to love. How about the spirit in me? The spirit in me. Love the spirit in you. When we come together, there ain't nothing we can't do, 'cause you're easy. Yes, you are, you're easy. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You're easy to love. You're easy to love. Oh, my goodness. Yes. Let's do the principles. The truth that's in me. Love the truth that's in you. When we come together, there ain't nothing we can't do. You're easy. Oh, yeah, yeah, you're easy. Yeah, 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 you're easy to love. Oh, my goodness, you're so easy to love. Yes, justice, come on. The justice in me. Love the justice in you. When we come together, there ain't nothing we can't do, 'cause you're easy. Yeah, yeah, you're easy. Yes, you are. You're easy to love. Righteousness, come on. You're easy to love. Let's sing righteousness now. Come on. The righteousness in me. Come on. The righteousness in me. Love the righteousness in you. When we come together, there ain't nothing we can't do, 'cause you're easy. Yeah, you're easy. Yeah, 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 you're easy to love. Oh, yes, you're easy to love. Let's close out, family, with the African in me. Love the African in you. The African in me. Love the African in you. When we come together, there ain't nothing we can't do, 'cause you're easy. Thank you, Wanda. Thank you. Man, you got something else. Easy to love. Brothers and sisters, I've enjoyed being with you today. Thank you for your donations. Thank you for showing your mirror. Okay? Again, share this message. Share this video. All right? Share the link on my YouTube channel. If you're watching me on YouTube, or if you're not watching me on YouTube, be sure to go to YouTube and subscribe to my YouTube channel. All right? Help me get 3 million YouTube subscribers. All right? It's growing. All right? It's growing. But let's make those numbers go up even more and more and more, so we can get this message to the entire world. All right? Once again, family, I marry you guys, and I'll talk to you again on next week. Everybody out there, stay strong. Motto Tep.